Once again, it's time from grape to glass, and Shawn Branson's back with us, of course, from Provence Bistro at Niagara Country Club. Nice to have you here.
Nice to be back.
Once again, going through your extensive wine collection over there. You guys got an amazing wine selection over there.
Yeah, we've been building it up for the last little while. The wine list has won the Wine Spectator Award for every year that we've been open.
That's incredible.
Since 2002. So, longest running streak for winning the Wine Spectator was myself. So.
Well, I know it's myself. I've learned a ton just having you visit the show.
Great.
I'm sure our viewers have. And we're talking dessert wines, and I got a little dessert for us.
Oh, fantastic!
Happy birthday!
We'll have to do a little pairing.
That's right. We'll do a little pairing with our dessert wines. Now, what makes a dessert wine? I was joking with you off camera. Would you have a Merlot with a dessert? I mean, can you have any wine with a dessert? Well,
usually with dessert, the rule with food and wine pairing is to have the wine sweeter than the food, for dessert. So you look at the sweetness of the food, and then make sure that it's sweeter. The other thing too is you do complementary flavors. Like if you add dessert wines that we're going to talk about have nice raisined qualities in there. So if it was a bran muffin with raisins, it would work as long as it was sweeter than that muffin.
All right. Well, what did you bring down with us? It looks very, very interesting.
Well, I mean, there's a lot in the world of dessert wines. The measuring standard is a wine called Sauterne. And it's from Sauterne, France, and this is an example, the first bottle right here, Chateau Murat. This is 2003. It's a fantastic vintage. This was in the Wine Spectator Top 100. And what it is Sauterne is made by Semillon grapes, which is the kind of grape, and it's left out in the vineyards. It's kind of raisins, and it's affected by something called Botrytis cinerea. And Botrytis cinerea is a fungus that attacks the grapes, sucks out the moisture, and really raisins the grapes. So
they make wine with the fungus on the grapes?
Yes, and when it happens, and it's naturally occurring in Sauterne, when more fungus, better the vintage. So that, it's hard to market something that Botrytis cinerea and that it's a fungus. So they call it noble rot.
Noble rot.
Yes.
Something from Monty Python.
Yes, noble rot. It's very high end. And so this is a 2003 vintage right here, the Chateau Murat. We also have another one, a Sauterne right here, which this one is 1956. So 1956, still drinking wonderfully. This is one of my last bottles, but it is available at the restaurant, and you can tell right at the top here as well. Like you can see the color at the top. There's a little bit of a gap here as the wine ages. It's kind of gets a little bit more of the oulage or the top area there.
What dictates the color?
The color is actually from the Botrytis cinerea or noble rot.
The fungus.
The fungus. It actually, the more raisined it is, the darker the color.
Okay.
So the first two are really good wines. They have good color. The third one is from Australia. This is a version of Botrytis cinerea Semillon. The only difference is it is naturally occurring in New South Wales, but what they do is they actually spray it and infect it 100%. And they get the real deep, dark color of this de Bordeaux Noble one.
Oh my goodness! Well, listen, we only have a few seconds left.
Okay.
We're going to head into another territory in just a few minutes.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about ice wine and how that's made.
And what's the German name?
Eiswein.
I love it. Anyways, we're going to talk that in just a bit. So much to cover with Grape to Glass. Shawn, stick around. You stick around. We'll be right back. Well, Shawn is back, of course. Actually, he didn't leave. He's been sitting here the whole time. Some great wine tips from Grape to Glass. Thanks for being here. Checking out the wine list and also the upcoming events. You do some great events, the wine tastings, of course.
Yes.
You have an event coming up June 10th.
Yes, June 10th. We have Spring in Manitoba. Spring came a little early, but it's our monthly wine dinner series, second Thursday of each month, and usually 5 courses, 5 wines, and with a bit of narration from me. So it's a great event.
And you know what you're doing, I'll tell you. I mean, I've learned a lot. You've learned a lot. Now, how do people get involved with it? Just simply call, make a reservation?
They can call the restaurant at Provence Bistro, 254-3500, or they can go on our online, provencebistro.com.
And you will have a link on breakfasttelevision.ca. There it is right there. Of course, for all that information, you can click over and find you and your fine events coming up.
Great.
We talked dessert wines earlier. Now we're talking Eiswein.
Yes, Eiswein.
Eiswein.
The theme to making a dessert wine is to concentrate the flavor. Traditionally, in Sauternes, they use the noble rot to get that, to achieve that.
Which is the fungus, in case you missed our last segment.
Yeah. Another place where they use the noble rot is in Germany, but once in every 10 years, they have this special thing that happens where it actually gets to -8 degrees or cooler, and they pick their grapes, and then they make Eiswein.
Eiswein.
Which is a bottle right here.
Years.
Only once every 10 years, a very rare occurrence, and basically they pick it and it concentrates the flavor from the grapes freezing.
Okay, so 8 degrees.
Yes, -8.
-8, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So what they found was that there is another country that can reach -8 degrees pretty consistently.
Can't imagine what that country would be.
Yeah, and so we started making ice wine in Canada. 75% of all the ice wine or Eiswein in the world comes from Canada. Wow. One of the largest producers is Niagara, because it is a little bit cooler than Ontario, or sorry, than BC. And this is an example here of an ice wine. It's made with a Vidal grape. The Vidal grape is actually originally from Alsace or Germany, so Vidal, Riesling, those kind of things. The grapes can hold onto the stems a little longer, so they can raisin them and pick them around December 10th, December 18th.
Okay, gotcha.
And then also on Pelly Island, which is the most southerly area of Canada, they also make ice wine there, but this is actually made from Cabernet Franc. So Cabernet Franc is a red grape, and this is a nice old bottle, 2000 vintage, and so they can make it all different kinds of grapes. And then the last one here is from Mission Hill, from BC. Great wine. Great winery, and this is a Riesling, and Riesling is one of those Germanic grapes. This is a late harvest, so in around November they have to make a decision. Are we going to get -8 degrees, and the grape's still going to be in good condition at that time? And so what they do is they call it late harvest if it doesn't reach quite that degree.
Is the procedure to make ice wine difficult?
It's very difficult. Usually pick at -12. They have to pick the grapes, transport the grapes, crush the grapes, all at -8 degrees or cooler. Wow. And that's why they have open vineyards where they basically just open the doors. Workers work in -8 degrees or cooler. Otherwise, you cannot call it ice wine.
All right, now I asked you this off camera, but I think it's interesting to point out. I asked a question, and I said this may be a silly question. Why are the bottles so thin? Do they have to be that thin and that size?
Ice wine is very expensive to make. For every half bottle, you can make 12 full bottles of wine. The other thing too is, especially with global warming, you may have a whole vintage that doesn't reach that -8 degrees at the right time, and you may not even have a vintage for the whole year, and that's pretty hard for business.
That's why Al Gore is creating this whole global warming thing. He's hoarding all the ice wine, I bet.
Yeah,
I bet that's what he's doing. Well, that's very interesting. I had no idea.
Yeah, great.
All right. Well, thank you so much for popping down with dessert wines and the ice wines. 75%, you said.
75% of the world, right in Canada, and it's something that we do very well is reach cold temperatures.
That's right. Something to be proud of as well. We can't wait to see you in the next couple of weeks.
Great. Thank you very much.
All right, Shawn, Provence Bistro. Check them out over at Niagara Country Club. Great food, great wine, great golf, great everything. Going to take a break. Coming back with more after this.